So, Frank Warren, the promoter of WBO lightweight champion Terry Flanagan, has recently came out and said Flanagan keeps pressuring him to make a fight between him and Vasily Lomachenko for later on in the year or whenever the fight can be made. Terry Flanagan won the WBO lightweight championship when he beat Jose Cepeda by second round TKO when Cepeda injured himself in the second round and refused to come out for the third round. He then fought former super featherweight title challenger Diego Magdaleno, where he absolutely battered the smaller Magdaleno and won the fight by second round stoppage. He just absolutely battered him. And then he's gone on and fought lower level opposition, defending his world title against Derry Matthews and Fano and Orlando Cruz, and now on the 8th of April he's fighting Petrov, who is a number 2 ranked lightweight. All I know of Petrov is that he got stopped by Marcus Maidano in 4 rounds a few years back. He's not an opponent who has a lot of credible names on his records. He's been beat 4 times. All I know is that he's a very tough fighter and he really comes to fight. So Terry Flanagan might really need to think about the fight he has against Petrov before he thinks about fights with Lomachenko for later on in the year, because Terry Flanagan really does need that big fight, and I understand why he wants to fight with Lomachenko, because he really wants a big fight. You see guys like Anthony Crolla fighting guys like Jorge Linares, and he's thinking, well, I'm a world champion, why can't I have fights like this? I can defend my belt against top level guys, so why aren't I getting it? So I understand that his last few fights haven't been the best opposition, and I don't think he'll be able to compete with Vasily Lomachenko. I'm sorry. Vasily Lomachenko is a very, very talented fighter, probably one of the most talented fighters to ever put on a pair of gloves. Amateur wise, he's probably the best amateur that's ever lived. 396 and 1. The one defeat, he avenged it twice. 7 and 1 as a pro, and he's a 2-weight world champion after only 8 fights. The guy in the ring is ridiculous. I watched his last fight against Nicholas Walters, and Nicholas Walters is a very tough opponent for anybody in the world at super featherweight or featherweight, and he just absolutely dismantled Walters, just totally shut him down and just boxed the brakes off him. And Nicholas Walters basically quit on his stool. He wasn't hurt or anything in the fight. He just didn't want to come out for the 8th round. Or 8th or 9th round, I think it was, because he just knew he couldn't beat Lomachenko at all. He just knew he was in there with a fighter who was just too good. And he even said, look, I didn't come out for the next round because I knew I'd probably get knocked out. So he knew Lomachenko was just too good for him and that he was getting to him. That's the kind of fighter Lomachenko is. He's very, very fast. He's got great hand speed. He's fantastic moving in the ring. That's what he's good at the most. He's very good at moving. He switches from side to side, steps out, steps in. And he's just fantastic at what he does in the ring. If you haven't seen Vasily Lomachenko fight, I advise you to go watch him fight, because he's fantastic. And I just don't see Terry Flanagan being on the same level similar to what Nicholas Walters was, because I think Nicholas Walters is a better fighter than Terry Flanagan, in my opinion. You lot might think otherwise, and I just seen the way Lomachenko broke him down. The only thing Terry Flanagan does have over Lomachenko is size. Terry Flanagan is a massive lightweight. I think Terry Flanagan could easily make 140 pounds, but he boils down to 135 pounds. He's even said a couple of times that sometimes it's hard to make the 135 pound limit, but he seems to do it, and he definitely has a size advantage over some of his opponents. He's a very big lightweight, so that could be an advantage if he ever fought Lomachenko, but I don't think that would matter, because that's how good Lomachenko is. The size doesn't really matter. Like when he fought Salido at featherweight when he was 126 pounds, Salido had to came in to the fight. I think Salido was about 147 pounds. He was a welterweight in the ring, and he managed to use underhand tactics and use his big size advantage over Lomachenko, and that was the only fight Lomachenko lost in his pro career and hasn't avenged, and it was by a split decision. So it wasn't like Salido's size mattered too much because he only managed just to win the fight. So I think Lomachenko would beat Terry Flanagan, but props to Terry Flanagan for wanting these kind of fights. He could just easily sit back and milk his WBO title and fight lower tier opposition, but it looks like he really wants these big fights and he's fed up of sitting and fighting lower level fighters. So yeah, I give him props for that, and I hope he does get a big fight. I think the best fight for Terry Flanagan is against Anthony Crolla. Like, I think that's the best fight for him. If Anthony Crolla beats Jorge Linares in their rematch on March 25th, I think a fight for the WBA and WBO world title at Manchester Arena. Two guys from Manchester, from the same city, holding versions of a world title in the same division. Like, you don't get that a lot every day. So yeah, I think that should be the next step for Terry Flanagan, big fight wise, because I see Vasily Lomachenko being a bit too much, and him and Anthony Crolla could be a very competitive fight. So that's how I look at it. Even Jorge Linares, I think, out of all the champions at lightweight, I think Jorge Linares is probably the fighter Terry Flanagan should face, or Anthony Crolla. Whoever wins that fight, I think he should sit back and wait for the winner of that fight. And if he manages to beat Petrov, get the wheels in motion to make it. Because I think at lightweight, you got Mikey Garcia, the WBC champion. I think he's too much for Terry Flanagan. And you got Robert Easter Jr., who is very tall and very rangy, and I think that could be a problem for Flanagan. So I think the Crolla Linares winner is his best bet. But comment below in the comment section if you have any opinions on this. JM Speedboxing.